Canada has now a new prime minister because he became leader of the Liberal Party. His name is Carney. Hasn't lived in Canada in the last 10 years, so, because he was, I think, the president or something of the Bank of England. So
England,
he
yeah.
spent a lot of his life abroad. So he came back to Canada and he was voted in as the leader of the Liberal Party. And naturally, because Trudeau has resigned, he became the leader of the country. So right now, he's prime minister. Poilievre has still been going. But again, Trump had in that interview, Trump said he would rather deal with the liberals than to deal with Poilievre. Because there is no conversation between Poilievre and Trump. I think Poilievre has purposefully avoided to have Trump. He's even said some negative things about Trump, particularly in the light of the tariffs.
Hmm.
Um, so Trump somewhat said Poilievre is stupidly not his friend and has said the negative things about him. So he would rather deal with the liberal than deal with Poilievre. I'm paraphrasing here, but that's the idea of it all, which is personally disappointing. I guess we'll review our thoughts after the video if you're ready.
Hmm. Okay. What is this talk about the liberals winning?
Man, that's just to tell you how politics changes. Like the conservatives were leading by double digits same time last year, even up to the beginning of this year, and even up to a few weeks ago. But since this tariff started, my goodness, have the liberals gained traction, and it's almost at parity now. The last time I checked, in many parts, the liberals are leading. Which, as someone who supports Pierre Poilievre, it's really sad to see how much he has declined in the last few weeks.
Do you
Um,
know any reasons why they decline or why the liberals are
I think we discussed it in one of our videos the last time because he was singing the same songs like the liberals when Trump came
mm,
into power, and then
mm.
nothing different. It was just like hanging on the picking the low hanging fruit and running with it. Like who in the? I mean, Trump has been saying, "Oh, Canada is going to be the 51st state," and has been taunting Canada. Fair enough, Trump has been saying that. But then, if you have followed Trump for a little bit, it's like really that's not what it means. He's making statements, grandiose statements, but he's only trying to force you to negotiation. And for Polier to catch that low hanging fruit and then run with it and sound exactly like Trudeau in his response to Trump, it's really sad. And for me, he also made a political move to not talk about Trump, to not involve the United States, to not even give interviews
Hmm.
to the United States journalists and podcasters and whatever. The only person he has interviewed in the US is Jordan Peterson.
Hmm.
And Jordan Peterson,
He's Canadian,
everybody
isn't
knows
he
he's
Canadian?
Canadian. He's Canadian. So it's a political calculation, a deliberate move not to be seen associated with Trump in any
That
way,
seems to
shape, or
have
form.
backfired. It seems to it's
It seems
backfiring
to have
clearly.
backfired for me. Yeah, it seems to have backfired for me for Pierre Poilievre by how much he has gone down the drain. He is not even associating himself strongly with Daniel Smith, who has been to the US multiple times to talk with Donald Trump. I mean, yeah, he's Alberta and he supports Alberta energy and stuff. And this is someone who I would say 95% of his policies is in line with Trump, and he agrees with Trump. But then, because of the fear he has, or the fear
Being
he has for the
associated.
retaliation, yeah, from Canadians for being associated with Trump, I think it has cost him a lot now.
But
Um,
I think what he missed was that he's the fact that he and Trump have similar ideas in a lot of different areas would
mhm.
have been a strength for him.
Would
Trump
have been
might
a
have
strength, yeah,
it's possible. Trump is someone who is Trump is very flexible. That's what I think.
yeah,
He is very
yeah.
flexible. If he finds out or realizes that both of you have similar
Shared
ideas and,
interest,
and
yeah,
can have shared interest in certain things, he can be flexible in other areas where you
right,
people might have a little bit of disagreement.
right,
And even
right.
just the way Trump communicated, I think he too is disappointed
He's very
in, in,
disappointed.
in the fact that
Yeah, he said
he
stupidly
he
not a friend of mine.
which doesn't make any sense.
Which
It
if
sounds
and I read a
frustrating.
lot into that. Yeah, I read a lot into that. It's like we agree on all these things. How come we
Why are
don't
we not
talk? How
friends?
come? Why are we not friends? Um, I thought it was a and again, we're not experts on that, but I thought it was a miscalculation on Poliev because it's almost like these people are not willing to work hard.
Hmm.
Man, did you see the number of interviews? Look, Trump left office in January of 2020. He almost started doing rallies
I
in
mean, he's
May or
been out
something.
there ever since.
He's been out there.
He's
He's been
still the
out there to
president.
all these podcasts. He's been out there talking to podcasters, talking to news station, holding conferences, holding stuff. I don't see that same fight in
No,
Poliev.
no. If I
I
were
don't.
him, I mean, I'm not saying that don't talk to Jordan Peterson, but I'll talk to Tucker Carlson. I
Tucker
would be the
Carlson,
one asking for an
Joe
interview
Rogan.
with Tucker Carlson. I'll talk with Joe
Yeah,
Rogan. These are people who have a large following,
they have
both in the
large following.
US and in
A lot of
Canada.
Canadians, a lot of
These are
Canadians
the
listen to
people
them.
you want to talk to. I mean, I don't care you not wanting to talk to mainstream media, Fox, and I don't care, CNN. Don't talk
Right,
to them. But we have alternative social media platforms that are
right.
bigger and stronger than this mainstream media. Talk to Joe
Yeah,
Rogan.
it's
Why
sad.
can't you go
It's
talk to Joe
sad.
Rogan? Why can't you go talk to Tucker Carlson?
To Tucker
Everybody
Carlson,
wants to talk to Carlson except you,
except you. Everybody wants to talk to Joe
to Joe
Rogan
Rogan.
except you.
Except it doesn't make
Joe,
any sense.
I don't know how much influence he didn't see how much Joe Rogan influenced the election. My
Oh,
goodness,
it
the
did big
people
time,
big
big
time.
time.
So it's really sad. I think the calculation was maybe fine in 2 years ago, but you can't make that kind of calculation now.
Does he
It's,
have time? Does he?
I don't
Is
think
there
he has
time
time.
to
Like
make
if he
change?
go, he can't do it now. He can't do it now, and it's almost like Khan is going to call an election soon in April. A lot of
I
people are
hear.
suspecting April.
Mhm. I hear
So
he's going to be making the announcement tomorrow, Sunday.
yeah, tomorrow Sunday, and
And I mean, why even make it? Why not make it sooner? He now he who was elected a couple of weeks
it,
ago.
which is similar to how Kamala Harris was
Exactly.
installed, right? Because these people they just take us like fools. Kanye has not lived in Canada for a long time, and he holds other international passports. I mean, he holds passports from other countries too. I
He's
think. I
not
think.
really been president of the Bank of England for a couple of
And he
years
needs to, yeah,
through COVID. Moved his company
to
from
the U.S.
Canada to the US, where he
to New
spent a
York.
lot.
Yeah,
He is a globalist.
he's a
He is a
globalist.
big
But
time globalist. He's not very different from Trudeau. It's just two different people with, or both of them are globalists. Both of them have the same ideas.
the same ideas.
Of both of them are, he, even though now he's talking about stepping back from some
National
of
trade and blah
the
blah
climate
blah.
the climate limitations that his friend Trudeau. He was an advisor to Trudeau, to
He
the Trudeau
advised.
government.
So
So he's been part of that government for a long time. And
exactly the
I'm
point.
surprised why Poilievre is only talking about that now.
Well, Poliev and a lot of people said he has not been able to successfully shift from Trudeau and try to because he only has a few. He's been prime minister for what, like a week or two. And
Kanye.
Poliev hasn't. I guess he's still turning the ship to focus on Kanye away from Trudeau now. But then, yeah, it might be
I
too late.
remember during our last conversation where we were talking about people's reactions to tariffs.
Yeah,
We chose to bring Doc Ford onto the show as opposed to
yeah.
him, because
I
he
suppose
said
so.
his statements were not different from Trudeau's statement, so there was
Yeah,
no need, repeating something that Trudeau has said, right? So
exactly.
I think he's still way behind playing catch up,
You playing
and
catch
there's
up.
no time for catch up. He needs to. Oh, Jesus Christ! Yeah,
Yeah,
he needs.
imagine Trump, the United President, would have been saying now, I think Poliev is a better person to work with to solve this issue.
You imagine how
The,
much.
how much relevance he would have had now. He would have just been sailing to the prime ministry. But yeah, that's not happening. And he's trying to spin it now and say Trump is trying to support the liberals because he knows he can manipulate them. That's not the main reason. The main reason I think is because you have purposefully avoided to deal with America and deal with Trump, even though you guys agree 100, almost 99%, and then you ran with the low hanging fruit. Nobody in their right senses think Ghana is ever going to be the 51st state of America. It's not
No,
happening. But for you
no.
to make that the center point of your message, and oh, you can't come and take over us, blah, 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 like, come on, buddy. We have other things to worry. I'm going to the grocery shop. I'm worried about the food, the
Yeah, food
prices of
prices,
food.
man.
I'm worried about the prices of gas, and
Mhm.
then there's tariffs coming up, and you're telling me about 51st state. I don't care because I don't think that's gonna happen. So tell me something how you're gonna negotiate this thing, not sounding like a liberal.
Well, I mean, Trump has influence. People listen to him when he says, "I rather
Listen to
work
him.
with a liberal." Yeah, people hear that, and people
People
say,
hear
"Well, we
that.
want to put somebody in as a
Who can
head
solve the problems for
who
us?
Trump is open to work with."
Yeah,
Right, as opposed to someone who Trump says is stupidly not my friend. Why
yeah,
should
that
we
says
have
a
that
lot.
person lead us
That
when
that says
Trump
a
might
lot.
not even want to talk to him, right? Because again,
Yeah.
so there's influence in this. Okay, let's hear what he had to say.
Yeah.
This is his argument.
We'll be
Speaking of whom, yesterday the president said that having a liberal prime minister would be easier for him to deal with, just as he threatened once again to make us the 51st state. And you know what? On that point, it's true. I'm a strong leader. I'm a tough guy to deal with. I'm firm in my convictions, and I'll always put Canada first. By contrast, in 10 years, the Liberals have blocked resource projects, hiked taxes, and driven $500 billion of investment to the U.S., all while Mark Carney moved his corporate headquarters out of Canada to New York, bringing jobs to the United States of America. Mark Carney will back down, and his Liberal policies will keep Canada weak, just like Trump wants. Giving the Liberals a fourth term will only weaken our country and strengthen Donald Trump. We need a strong, tough leader who will unleash our resources, cut taxes and red tape, build homes, and make our economy less reliant on the Americans to put Canada first.
Why? Why would a young,
Doesn't that sound like Trump?
why would a
That sounds.
young why but why would a young man speak as if he was 90? No energy. Like that is Trump would say this is a low energy human being. He was low and the people
Oh,
you could see it in their faces. No energy, no enthusiasm, no motivation, nothing. Like as if he was talking to kindergarten children.
yeah,
What?
yeah.
Who is this guy?
I mean, we are immigrants. We have issues with accents and getting the right words together. And but someone born a Canadian born and a politician for that matter, you think you have to be more enthusiastic, be energetic, lift the spirits of people on. But you just
Counting
sound downcasted.
counting his words as if he is not sure about what he's talking about.
Yeah,
Like
yeah.
you like no energy.
It's sad. It's sad. And if you just he sounds like you just have to put US in the place of Canada. He sounds exactly like Trump.
Mhm.
Like he wants to open the economy, he wants to make Canada first, he wants to do all those things that Trump has said he's going to do for America. But then it's almost like saying Poliev is against Poliev, because he he doesn't want to deal with Trump because the liberals are going to be weak. Man, I mean, that doesn't convince anybody. Because you can't say you cannot be dealing with a person who agrees with you policy wise almost 95% of the time. And then you're calling the liberals weak.
I mean,
I'm sorry,
how do you demonstrate strength if
how do you even demonstrate
if you
it?
can't have a serious conversation with your I don't
Someone that
know
you
your
someone that you agree with.
with somebody? How is that? How does that show any strength? I don't see it.
Yeah, yeah, I don't say it. I don't see it. Like he's trying to spin it that Trump wants to get control of Canada. Did not work for me because he's still again, like we said earlier, he's still running with that 51st state nonsense. That no reasonable person, even if you're in primary two or grade two, you know that that's not going to happen for Canada to become another the United. It's not happening, and particularly if
I
you've been
mean,
following Trump.
yeah, I don't think he hasn't proven himself. I think that's why he's falling in the polls. He hasn't proven
Yeah,
himself.
yeah,
He hasn't
yeah.
demonstrated that he can stand up for Canada. I mean, you say you would stand up for Canada. Hey, go talk to Trump.
Go talk to Trump.
Go talk
Yeah,
to Trump. That's how you show that you stand up for Canada. You don't run and
it's
hide
sad. It's sad. It's really
and
sad.
make statements about your counterpart who is standing outside waiting for you to come have a conversation.
Exactly
That
the
doesn't
point.
show any. That doesn't show strength at all.
It doesn't show leadership, doesn't
It
show
doesn't show
strength,
leader.
it doesn't
Nothing.
show foresighted. I don't know. Does he really think that liberals are thinking like, oh, we're going to vote for conservative now because Trump is going to take over Canada? I don't think that's working. That doesn't work. Like nobody in their rightful sense thinks that Canada is going to become the 51st state. And for you to think that Trump wants to get control over Canada because the liberals are weak, that didn't convince me. It did not convince me that
It's
you
not
are.
convincing. Yeah, that's what he's saying, but it's not convincing.
It's not
Yeah,
convincing.
yeah.
Yeah,
I
because
mean,
he's trying to spin it, but no.
considering that you were singing the same song the liberals were singing
Right.
with
Yeah.
regards to tariff, you sang the same song.
Yeah.
It felt like you copied from them.
You copy you copy from their book, and then you sound like, oh yeah.
And then
It's disappointing. I
and
really
then
I'm saying this as someone who really supports Pierre. I really want him to be the next Prime Minister of Canada. But yeah, it's disappointing to see how much is gone down in the polls.
so
I don't
if
know if people are doing it because the Liberals have gained traction or because Pierre has been very poor. It's a combination of both. The Liberals have gained traction with the tariffs; they have used it to their
Mhm.
strength, and the Conservatives have used the same tariffs, but yeah, sounded like
I
Liberals. So.
I don't know that he's been to Alberta, and this is where he would definitely have his biggest support.
Right, right.
But
Yeah.
I don't know that he's visited here. I don't know that he's had a real
I don't know.
conversation
Maybe
here.
he considers Alberta already in the pocket for him. Remember, Alberta voted 100%, almost
Well,
100% blue the last elections.
these are different
This is
times.
different ball games.
These are
Yeah,
different
they're
times.
different ball game.
People
And
people
these people, they really don't sound like they're working. They're working as hard
as they
enough,
should.
like you and as they should. It doesn't look like it, like he's working. Because I don't see him going to press conference talking to people. Really, there are not that many popular Canadian podcasters when you come on YouTube space. Really, honestly, if we're very honest about ourselves,
Yeah,
like
yeah, that's
nobody
true.
can stand up to the levels of Joe Rogan or PBD or even Candice Owens or even Tucker Carlson. No one
And
like
these are and
who
the
in
problem is
Canada?
these are all conservatives.
These are all the
These
conservative
are all
voices.
conservative podcasters who would not mind talking to
Oh,
him.
prop you up. Yeah, they won't mind, and they'll learn it for free in many cases. But yeah, I don't know. I don't know. I really don't know.
Yeah, anyway. Well, this is where we are.
Yeah.
So we might be getting another liberal government in the next couple of
It's
months.
very possible.
Who
Very
knows? It's a
possible. Which is
possibility.
sad.
Again,
Which is really sad.
it's too early to make any predictions, but with the
Yeah.
way things are going, and if you believe the polls, well, this might be your indication, right? That we
Yeah.
would have another a liberal government.
It's
And
sad.
again, I don't know how different things are going to be because again, for
Yeah.
me, I was hoping that we will get something different, a difference,
It's something different. Yeah.
something really different, right?
No,
That was
and
what I
I'm
hoped
still
for.
rooting for the guy. I'm still rooting for Poilievre, but it's not looking very good.
It's not looking very good.